Welcome back. Okay, let's dive right into today's explainer. We're going to unpack a really fascinating correlation between our modern communication crisis, Gen Z's search for meaning, and believe it or not, how building an exclusive community is basically the ultimate business hack. We're pulling insights directly from the Hustleverse today, and we're going to see how these massive societal shifts actually present just a completely incredible opportunity for you to rethink connection and ultimately success. So here's our roadmap for today. We're covering escaping the crab bucket, the Gen Z disconnect, the communication crisis, belonging as a business, and finally, your blueprint for success. Let's get right into it. Section 1, escaping the crab bucket and finding community. We all know that traditional crabs in a bucket mentality, right? You know, someone tries to climb out and achieve something, and the others just pull them right back down. But the Hustleverse actually flips this idea completely on its head. Picture this instead. Crabs outside the barrel, separated by these powerful, chaotic currents, but they are fighting to find their way back to each other. They grab on, they uplift, they protect the community. It's an amazing metaphor because true success, it really comes from identifying people who are struggling, putting your arms around them, and building together instead of tearing each other apart. But here's the catch. Before you can rescue anyone else or, build a thriving space, you have to cultivate that relentless internal driver within yourself. Every single day. The source material emphasizes this point heavily. You literally cannot transfer motivation to others that you don't personally possess. You've got to show up. You've got to build your own consistency and generate that internal fire first. Because, when you finally do find someone to uplift, you need to actually have the strength to guide them. Makes sense, right? Okay, moving to section 2, the Gen Z disconnect, looking at the unhappiest generation. So looking at this data, the crucial difference really lies in how our generational struggles have evolved over time. Older generations, they face severe physical hardships just to survive. Walked miles in the snow, that sort of thing. Gen Z, however, they're absolutely drowning in mental and emotional overwhelm. In fact, they're officially recognized as the unhappiest youth generation, specifically in places like the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. It's crazy because despite having unprecedented digital access, actually navigating today's world has never felt harder. It's a massive paradox, honestly. Modern comfort and this endless barrage of technology absolutely have not solved the core human problem of emotional emptiness. If anything, they've completely amplified it. Each generation becomes more technologically connected but emotionally disconnected. We have never, ever been more visible online, and yet we've never felt more isolated in reality. This brings us to section 3, the communication crisis and losing genuine dialogue. This emotional void didn't just happen overnight. If we look at the timeline, around 2005, we started out using real names to find genuine connections. But then by 2012, we transitioned into creating these fabricated avatars, those fake highlight reels projecting luxury just to hide our real-life struggles. Eventually, around 2018, communication completely degraded into passive scrolling and these generic, short little comments. And today, in 2024, that is morphed into severe online criticism and emotional ghosting. It's simple. Because we stopped using our true conversational muscle, we kind of just lost it. And the real-world symptoms of this crisis are glaring. We've actually reached a point where people don't just avoid simple phone calls, they're literally ghosting face-to-face Zoom meetings because just looking someone in the eye to have a real conversation is somehow too intimidating. The source notes it's even visible in the fast food drive-thru. Think about it. People often can't even maintain basic eye contact while just handing over cash for a burger. The entire interaction has become totally lifeless and purely transactional. A lot of this stems directly from what we call performative posting, which is basically presenting this fake, luxurious online avatar to mask real-life struggles. When people stop seeing each other as actual humans, and they start treating each other as just passive content to be judged or swiped past, empathy just disappears and isolation skyrockets. People are out there living these fictitious lives online while hurting so much in reality. And when the digital world lacks human respect, that toxicity bleeds directly into our physical, everyday interactions. All right, section 4, belonging as a business and creating exclusivity. So here is where the massive opportunity lies. If an entire generation is basically starved for authentic communication and just a place to fit in, the single most valuable thing you can build right now is a community of genuine belonging. The source highlights a really massive key here. A strong sense of belonging at work is a top predictor of Gen Z happiness. They don't necessarily want those strict traditional corporate desk jobs, but they absolutely want to feel seen, connected, and valued by a community. And, everyday physical retail psychology already proves that we humans actively crave exclusive clubs. Think about a regular supermarket for a second. It's open to everyone, it's purely transactional, there's zero connection. But then look at a warehouse club, like Costco or Sam's Club. People literally pay for a membership just for the privilege of walking through the door. It's wild. They want that shared identity, that unique access. And yeah, the food samples, but mostly that community feel. The blueprint for your online business already exists right here in the real world. So the takeaway? If you treat your online business simply as a transactional storefront, you're going to struggle. You really need to transition into being a community club, a place where people feel chosen, valued, and safe to communicate. You have to facilitate real dialogue instead of just chasing passive likes. Create that exclusive, members-only access. Build in live interactions, like real Zoom meetups. Because ultimately, you're selling identity and connection first. Your products, they're completely secondary to the community itself. Moving into our final part, Section 5, Blueprint for Online Success, and the one thing you need. Let's look at the upcoming live training with Wayne Crow. It's explicitly titled The One Thing You Need for Success Right Now. And this blueprint directly tackles the total paralysis of information overload. It refocuses everything on the absolute essential skills of connection and clarity. I mean, it is so easy to get lost in a sea of secret AI software and shiny new tools, right? But what actually works is establishing those foundational marketing skills, prioritizing clarity, and learning how to build true communicating communities. You really cannot afford to miss this community event, so make sure you take action. The source invites you to jump into the Hustleverse today. Just comment the word hustle to get the mega link and join the exclusive live training. This is your chance to really grab those foundational skills, secure your spot among fellow builders, and experience firsthand exactly what it feels like to be part of a real, thriving online community. So, I want to leave you with this pretty provocative thought. Are you just trying to make a quick, lifeless digital sale? Or are you ready to actually cure the connection crisis by building a true community? Will you continue to be a crab pulling others down in the digital bucket? Or will you rise above and build an exclusive space where people actually belong? The future belongs to those who communicate. The choice is entirely yours.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me, yeah. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realized purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't in applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feel misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. Let's say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason. I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling. I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This is what it looked like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated. They the most committed. To something deeper than motivation. I don't need a reason. Don't need a reason. I am the reason. Am the reason. I don't need the feeling. Don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. Move with meaning. No more waiting. No more waiting. No more chasing. No more chasing. Internal driver. That's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it. Borrowing it.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepare was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 49, day 1, and we are right at 15 minutes into today's challenge. And yes, I made a couple of updates. Hopefully you've noticed. Hopefully you've been paying attention. Hopefully this isn't your first time here within the Hustleverse. So I changed up my top banner, if you can see up at top, and I changed up the bottom banner. So if you can see the bottom banner, right? So I wanted to, do some updates. And the only reason why I was able to do some updates as I pull back the curtain, right, is because I upgraded my knowledge. I upgraded my knowledge bank. I started to look at, new things. I started to do more research. I started to find out more information. And as I was finding out things, I was also having fun. So that's one of the core principles of the Hustleverse. If it ain't fun, then it's not really worth me doing. Now, just for clarification purposes, your business itself is not always going to be fun. There's going to be challenges, there's going to be complications, there's going to be things that are going to make you say, man, I don't want to do this. It's going to be things that, make you say, hey, this has to be done, but maybe I'm not the right person to do it, so I'll delegate it to someone else. So we always have these type of experiences where we're going to have to do one thing throughout the process, and that is learn. We're going to have to learn. We're going to have to grow, learn, and we're going to have mindset shifts that allow us to move through the process. Now, me personally, I need motivation and inspiration on a daily basis. That's just me. Now, I don't need it externally, so to speak. I got that internal driver, but I present to not only you, but myself a introduction each and every time I go live. So that preparation that you get, that inspiration, that motivation, everything that I'm transferring to you, I'm transferring to myself also. I'll be honest. Sometimes, I start going live, and as the intro, when it's just about to start, I don't have a lot of energy. I'm not as motivated. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, hey, do I want to make this a long live or do I want to keep it short? And that's why often I say to you guys, hey, I'm not going to keep you too long. And sometimes it turns into me actually going longer than what I expected. But that intro, during that, on average 15 minutes intro, where I'm setting the stage, or I have my business partner, the AI, setting the stage for us, giving us that preface of usually what occurred yesterday, what we talked about in the previous live. So if you haven't watched, last week's lives, and if it's still available, make sure that you check out those lives because, in my opinion, they're the best lives that you will ever see online. When it comes to the perspective of giving you, a sense of clarity, giving you a different perspective, a different way of looking at online marketing, a way in which you will never receive anywhere else. We don't do cookie cutter here in the Hustler's Secret Success System, which is part of the Hustleverse. We do above average and we do creativity and, you know, we share affiliate marketing or online marketing in a way that hopefully is understandable and digestible for the vast majority of people. So I'm gonna say it this time, as I often do. I'm not gonna keep you guys too long today, and that's for a specific reason. I have a couple of things going on, and I definitely don't want to have those things interrupted, just in case we have a situation where I might have to end the live early. So I'm not going to go too long, but I want to give you some valuable information. Now, first, before we get into the information, I want to ask you guys, how did you like that intro video, that short segment of the highway scene. Now, I did a highway scene a while back, right? With the helicopters and everything like that. And it was using the older version of my favorite AI tool, which is Video Express, right? But now they've upgraded. And this upgrade has given a massive, massive boost to the quality and, how we can actually create content. So in that video, hopefully you were paying attention. It had a lot going on. It was in reference to one of my favorite advertisements, my favorite marketing companies. I'm calling it a marketing company because it really is. It's a marketing genius, which is Red Bull. Now, of course, we know that Red Bull is a energy drink company, but it's more than that. Over the years, it's become one of those marketing titans. And I often referred to it throughout the course of my career. I've often referred to the fact that Red Bull is one of those companies that never really relied on human interaction in their marketing. A lot of times they they would use sketches or animations in order to, create their advertisements. They would even do pencil type art. So nothing too high def, nothing too crazy. It could just be a sketch that looked kind of like a 1960s or so type of, visual. But that was enough to grab people's attention. And they kept with their same thing. The theme of Red Bull gives you wings. So I had to do a spin on it. And that spin, you know, I was inspired by a post that I saw in a private group. I had just came across this private group. Once again, like I said, always researching, learning, and getting more information, right? So I just saw and came across this private group yesterday, and I joined the group. And one of the first posts that I saw was a interesting graphic, a visual, a video, and it was about a highway scene with a Red Bull tanker, and the side of the Red Bull tanker, it had a hole in it, and Red Bull was flowing from the tanker itself. And the woman, as shown in my example, she went over towards it. It was a puddle. She dipped her cup in the puddle and she drank the Red Bull that was flowing onto the highway. And what happened? Well, what you would expect happened. Just like in most Red Bull commercials, or I should say all Red Bull commercials, once when you get a sip of it, once when you ingest that Red Bull, it does something special. It gives you wings. So in that visual that I did, I took a little time just to create it, but it was fun. It was exciting. It was something that, I I saw a concept. I figured out how can I actually prompt and, direct my AI to give me the best type of prompt in order to direct my favorite tool, which is Video Express, to actually, produce the scenes, that I needed in order to make that visual come to life. So this is one of the main things that I'm excited about on a daily basis. I'm excited about the possibility of being able to close my eyes, see a picture in my mind, and then transfer that picture into something physical or digital, something visually transferred from my mind onto an actual tool that will recreate the things that I see in my mind. Now, that right there excites me. Hopefully, it excites you. And for me personally, it's one of the best business opportunities that I could ever think about being part of. See, your wildest dreams can come true if you decide to take action. They can come true. And there's some things that you can do in order to make them come true. So in that beginning training, they talked specifically about having a community. Now, community matters. And as stated in that training, something very powerful. It said that your product is second to your community. And that clicked for me. That is very true. Because I think about the communities that I'm part of and the opportunities that I'm part of. And when I really look at it, the owners or the coaches and the mentors, they all put community before the product itself. And in some cases, when you are part of some of these inner circles, they never really talk about the product. They don't even put the product second. The product is like a kind of like an afterthought. Some companies, some well-known and successful online marketers and content creators, they never even really mention the product itself. They are more focused on community building and being able to master the art of communication. See, now I talk to you guys about how AI is something that is taking over the world, which I don't have to tell you. You already know it. You've already experienced it. Whether you're online or offline, you've probably experienced it in your everyday life. But I talk to you guys about how one of the most powerful skills that you can develop when it comes to AI is your ability to communicate. But it's not just when it comes to AI. It's when it comes to people, real humans, building a community and building a powerful and profitable business that's built to last, that's built for longevity. Now, it's built for longevity and it can last forever because once when you learn the skill of communication, being able to communicate with your audience, with your community, to convey a message, that's when, you know, you become powerful. And hopefully that's a skill that you never lose. Now, they say if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So never lose it. Never neglect the fact that you might be a great communicator and that communication quality, that communication skill of yours may be the determining factor as to if you are successful. Not any particular product, not anything like a specific tool, not anything specific about like a physical item, but your ability to communicate. So I want to just make sure that I drill that into your mindset. So if you're an introvert like me, who people that know me know, I'm social to an extent. I'm not out there in the street. I don't, go partying. I don't like being around large crowds of people. If I don't know you, then, eh, I don't hang out. Let's just put it like that. But if we're close, then, we can do some things and the communication will be there and we can be able to build together, right? But I use my skill sets, my knowledge, the fact that I have a passion for these things like AI and online marketing. I have such a passion for it that it overrides my introvertism. Let's call it that, my introvertism. And you might have an introvertism yourself. But you have to find what is it that you're more passionate about, something that you just absolutely can't control and can't contain within yourself, that no matter what, you're going to want to talk about it to people. Even if you're naturally shy and reserved, You want to have something that gets you so excited that you forget completely about that that issue, that problem that you have, and you turn it into, an afterthought. You turn it into something that's second to your primary, kind of like how the products a lot of times become second to the community. So you see how that works? You have to find ways of making these things happen. Now, I want to share with you guys something, and it's from one of my favorite tools, right? Which you guys already know. My favorite tool, one of my other favorite tools is the new tab section. Now, as I just opened it up, I think it just refreshed on me. So it's probably not going to show me the same articles that I was just looking at the headline for, but that's okay. Because I did pull up one specific article that, just in case if it did refresh, I pulled it up just because it stuck out to me. It stuck out. But as you can see, let's look at some headlines. So AI first on the chopping block, right? Anthropic says decades of evil robot stories may be echoing inside AI models. Interesting. Hmm. Evil robot stories. Well, if it's important enough to write an article about, it might be important enough to research and maybe focus on a target audience that might be interested in evil robot stories, right? So that might be an article worth checking out. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got some politics. We got some politics. Hmm. This one right here, Linden Tree sponsored a sponsored post. It's asking the question here, for the right person, this might apply. But one of the great things that I love about being an online marketer, an affiliate marketer, is that this right here might be attractive to the average brick and mortar small business owner, right? Because they need a lot of funding. So, as the title of this says, are you looking for up to $2 million to fund your small business? No, me personally, no, because in our particular niche, in our industry, it doesn't take a lot of investment in order to build a profitable business. Now, if you were a traditional style business that required you to have a lot of physical equipment, have a physical location that you have to pay rent on, having a commercial property, then yes, $2 million to fund your small business would be very attractive. Now, as an online marketer, this would be attractive to me for a different reason than it would be for a person with a physical, traditional style business. See, that person would be looking for the funding, but me, as the marketer, I would be looking for ways to expose the funding opportunity to the right person. So there's, as usual, just like with most products and services, there are affiliate programs and services that you can join that will allow you to share opportunities to lend funding to not only small businesses, but everyday people that might need specific services done, right? So it's all up to you whether or not you decide that you want to be on the end of the borrower or the one that's referring the opportunity to the person that wants to borrow, right? So that right there is very valuable. Every opportunity leads to another opportunity for a different person, right? So now what else we have? More politics, more politics. Hmm. Yeah, I just saw recently Drake, he didn't just release one album, right? He did something that nobody else has done before. He released 3 albums. Now, when you look at it, that's that's crazy. That's crazy. This might not be valuable or important to you, but what this says is this. With the situation that occurred between Drake and Kendrick a couple of years ago, and time is flying by, right? But a couple of years ago, they were in a heated battle, a battle in which, let's be honest, Drake lost that particular battle, and that put a somewhat of a damper on his career when it comes to the public spotlight for a second, right? It didn't end his career. It's not like, he lost the battle and the war, but he lost the battle. And of course, in your career, like I said, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be things that come up, there's going to be battles that you have to face, and you're not going to win them all. You're not going to be the champion in every situation and outcome. But you can tell when a person is coming back from a defeat, right? You can really tell if a person is coming back from a defeat or as compared to a person that might be riding high and they've been winning all their life, or they got a win in and now they're kind of coasting. They're kind of coasting. And this is a lesson for online marketers. Some people can get to the point where they feel as though they're successful and that they don't have to do anything else. They just start to coast. They get comfortable. And others, they're always striving for more. Some people, they get to a level where if they have a strong internal driver, that internal driver is consistently pushing them to be greater and greater and greater. They hit a plateau, they hit a certain level, and they say, I want more. Some people, they, hit the plateau, they hit one mountain, and they stay on top of that mountain, not realizing that there's another mountain to be climbed. Some people, they get beaten down by, loss. They lose so much that they don't even want to get in the fight anymore. But this right here is an example of a person that's been through a battle and lost the battle, and they've come back with a vengeance, so to speak, doing something that hasn't been seen before. So 3 album releases at once. See, back in the day when people used to release an album, right? They would release an album, everything be cool. And then you had that special case, that one of that first time situations where, my favorite artist, my favorite, leader, Tupac, you know, he came out with something years ago, which was one of those things that people hadn't seen, and that was a double CD. So that was one of the first of its kind, and that shocked the world because nobody saw a double CD. So that was kind of like having 2 albums, creating 2 albums. And then, other people, did it. Only a couple of people probably ever did it after that. But now we have Drake. Drake coming out with 3 album releases at once. I haven't heard any of the songs. Now I might, I'm going to do my research and try to check it out. I'm not a big Drake fan like that, but I will say that his commercial songs are, you know, unescapable and they're catchy. But one thing that I never liked about Drake is that he always disappointed me when it came to the actual album. I would hear the commercial stuff, the stuff that played on the radio, and say, hey, this sound cool. This is, this sound nice. But then I would hear the album, and the songs on the album would be something that would be completely different from what I like to hear from what he would have on the radio. It's like you go from being a rapper on the radio to an R&B-ish artist on your album. And I'm like, no, that's not really for me. Like a lot of the stuff, him trying to sing and stuff like that, I get it. Some people like that. Some people look forward to that. But I've always been disappointed just to see how different his commercial, his commercially played music was as compared to the other tracks on the album. It just made me feel like this is a completely different person. But just to wrap up on this part, we have a person who has faced defeat and they're coming back with a vengeance, right? And I'm not sure how long, he's going to keep it up or what's going to be the next step for him. But then we have, on the other hand, the victor, the one that won the battle, the one that went on a run for, you know, the last year or so, celebrating, riding high on the victory. But me, honestly, I haven't been searching, but I haven't heard a peep. I haven't heard anything else out of them. They Not Like Us is a powerful song. It's something that's very powerful, but I haven't heard anything else after that. Now, over on the West Coast, he might be coming out with a lot of stuff that's bumping, that's moving around. But from a commercial standpoint, things that they're actually pumping on the radio, which I don't really listen to the radio. Honestly, I'll be honest, I only listen to my own music that I create because I create the best music in the world. So I really don't focus on other people's music like that. Only select people. I see somebody that, I like, I listen to their stuff, but other than that, no. But I haven't heard a peep really out of the victor. And that says a lot. That goes back to the point of sometimes a person can get to a level where they win and they coast, and another person can be defeated just for a moment, and then they can come back with a vengeance. So congrats to Drake on that, coming back stronger and doing something that hasn't been done before. See, now we go back into, some AI news. 20 obvious signs something is AI written. I could tell you guys a lot about that. It's always some key signs. Hmm. Versions of you in other universes may be subtly affecting your destiny. Oxford physicist says. Okay, so that's a strong hook. Now, usually you see something provocative, as they would probably call this title, provocative and kind of out there. And you'll say, man, I don't believe in alternate universes and things like that. But then you got to throw in something to kind of make you really think, could this be true? You throw in the provocative and then you add in the expert. So Oxford physicist says, so this is, you know, if you're familiar with most things, then you've heard of Oxford. That's, a very prominent, you know, uh, school, university, or whatever. They have been known to produce great information, factual information, studies, and things like that. And if you see that they're studying this, then you might say, this might be something that's real. So that's a great hook. So I want you to keep that in mind from a hook standpoint. And then this visual right here, depending on what you actually watch on TV, the TV shows, movies, this right here might not mean anything to you, depending on the content that you consume. But I've recognized this lady right here. I've recognized her face. I forget her name, but she's played in some great cinematic films. that are kind of, out there. That's kind of like time bending and shifting type of things that are exciting, fast paced, and she makes some pretty good movies. So that right there would catch my attention, like it would catch someone's attention who's familiar with her. And they might say, hey, let me check out this article. But I'm not going to go any farther when it comes to, the titles here. I'm going to pull up the actual article that I was stopped by and that I had to pull up. And this article, the title is Men Haven't Yet Noticed That a Large Number of Women Are Disgusted by AI. Wow, that's strong. But you know something? When I saw that title, it made me feel like I can believe it. The first thing that came to my mind when I read that title was the fact that now with AI, we have the ability to create our own AI avatars. And one of the craziest things, or funniest things that I've seen is that there's a bunch of men, or a good majority of men, that are creating AI avatars that are attractive women. So men are creating all of these women avatars so that they can either promote a product, sell a product, go viral, but they understand that people want to see women. Men and women want to see women. But you don't see a lot of attractive AI male avatars. You just see like a lot of these voluptuous type of female AI avatars, and they're created by men. So that's the first thing that came to my mind, and it made me think, yeah, maybe women are a little disgusted by AI from that standpoint of seeing men use it as a way of creating female avatars that look perfect and that have specific features. And, women might be like, hey, well, they don't fit that mold, they don't look that way. And this is, it becomes a situation like before where back in the past where people had their own concept of what is attractive and what a person should look like. So that's a whole other story, right? But that's the first thing that came to my mind. But let's check out the key takeaways real quick, and let's read what they're talking about. So key takeaways: workload imbalance. Many women are overburdened while supporting partners running AI startups, leading to burnout and emotional strain. Hmm. Let's keep going. Relationship strain. AI careers can cause neglect at home, emotional stress, and even breakups as partners prioritize work over family. Hmm. Third point, emotional toll. Women often become the support system for partners facing job stress, resulting in feelings of being unheard and exhausted. Now, I read all three of those without stopping because they all seem to be saying one thing to me as an online marketer. And it's it's very interesting, and it's telling, as they would say. All three of these statements is basically saying to me that women are watching their male counterparts go off to work. It's putting in my head a perspective that it's a male dominated industry where men are, as they traditionally say, hey, go out to work, and the woman stays home, and, you know, housewife type of situation, which is becoming very rare nowadays. You don't find too many situations where you have a stay at home wife, and, you know, a lot of women, they're out there in the work field. But this right here seemingly is focused on situations where the men are out working and the women are, kind of in that housewife type of situation. Many women are overburdened while supporting partners running AI startups. So these men are out there doing all the work. They're starting companies. They're doing everything with AI startups, right? AI careers can cause neglect at home, emotional stress, and even breakups as partners prioritize work over family. So the women, as shown in this picture, the women are stressed because it's saying that the men who are starting these AI startups, they're prioritizing work over family. Emotional toll, once again, women often become the support system. So not the actual, starters of these companies themselves. They become the support system for the male counterparts that are actually doing these things. Facing job stress, resulting in feelings of being unheard and exhausted. I get it. I get it. I understand. But what this says to me as a marketer is this: there's a need for someone to be the face of women in AI. And, as I'm reading this, a popular AI content creator and an AI coach and trainer comes to mind. Her name pops up in my head. Her face pops up in my mind. I believe her name is Alicia Little. She pops up in my mind because she's the only woman that I know of. Well, one of only, let's say, two that come to mind. Alicia Little is one of the only women that I see online that is a strong advocate for using AI and teaches and coaches. Well, she coaches everybody on it, male and female. But of course, I would say her target audience would is more so of trying to get women engaged and involved in the use of AI. And I feel as though this is one of those articles that tells me that there's an untapped market for the right marketer. It could be a male, or I would say more than likely it should be a female, right? But it could be a male that's targeting female entrepreneurs that want to really start their own AI startups. Instead of being the person that's being supportive of a partner that's in AI, or a person that's being unheard and exhausted because, you know, their male counterpart is prioritizing work over family, let's change the dynamic. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? So why should women be stressed and feeling anxiety over this? Why should they be alone? Let's flip it. Let's have more women in these AI startup situations and have their male counterparts be the ones that's at home feeling neglected and stressed out. No, even playing field. Why not? Why not? Why not get into that type of situation? Why not, you know, help these unheard and exhausted, women become part of this industry? Now, traditionally, unfortunately, they say that, tech and things like that, computers and, you know, all this kind of tech related stuff is a male dominated industry, but it's only male dominated if you allow it to be. And when one particular group or, person dominates a specific area, that makes it that much easier for somebody that's completely different to come in and attract the audience of people that want to be involved but feel neglected. As a black man in the tech industry, who comes from where I come from, who focuses on, creative content creation, who's, hip hop driven, who is 6'8", and don't like basketball, don't play basketball, but more on the computers. I'm I'm different to an extent for a lot of people. I'm different, right? I would be considered a little different. So somebody like me, it's my goal and my aim to attract people that's more like me. And that's what we call our target audience. People that wear a fitted hat, people that, people that are more so geared towards people like the 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 coaches and mentors that I look to, like Eric Thomas, who made a career off of just, being himself. T-shirt, fitted cap, and he attracted people that fit that mold, and he attracts a lot of other people. He attracts business professionals, people that wouldn't even wear a t-shirt and a cap, and suit and tie type of people. But of course, his target audience in the beginning was the people that was not being spoken to, and I was one of those people. I saw myself in him. I didn't have his energy, but I had somewhat of his look and his style. So he inspired and motivated me. So it's on me to inspire and motivate people that closer or closely resemble me. So what I take from this article is that we need some more diversity when it comes to the AI world. You see this face right here, the face of a woman being unheard and exhausted. And then we have the face of her male counterpart right here. He's looking like, he got that look on his face like, well, what's the problem? Like, yeah, I just can't understand. I'm starting these AI startups. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to, grow something and build something for my family and stuff. And she's not happy. Well, there's a problem and there's always a solution. So I just wanted to give you guys, you know, just a little insight, just a little, key takeaways of this article. And if you're interested in reading it, I would definitely say search it up. Here's the title once again: Men Haven't Yet Noticed That a Large Number of Women Are Disgusted by AI. Check it out. So with that, I want to just show you guys one other thing. So as I mentioned earlier, I updated my banner, the top part and the bottom part. But on the new tab section is not here, but I wish it was, because it mentioned something that, was very powerful to me. It mentioned the fact that, it mentioned something about one of my favorite AI tools, what's becoming more and more one of my favorite AI tools, Copilot. As you can see the symbol right here that's up on the search, and the symbol is actually up here on the, the browser itself. But when it comes to creating pictures, it's powerful. When it comes to creating, information that doesn't sound extremely AI written, right? It's powerful. And I want to show you guys something that, I'm going to be using going forward to help me in my communication with you, with my communication with my target audience, with my community. So the first thing is, I want to show you this graphic that was made using Copilot. Let me reveal that to you guys. Okay, so if you see this right here, let me unlock it so I can move it around just a little bit. It's a little high up. It's a little high up. Check out this graphic. This right here was made with Copilot. Now, traditionally, I would go to Chat GPT, or I would go to, you know, my other favorite AI tool, which is Artistly, to create, you know, pictures and visuals, right? Which Artistly is the best for me when it comes to creating pictures and things like that for my cinematic pictures and stuff like that. But when it comes to creating something with that's heavily text laden, right? That has a lot of text on there. When it comes to something like that, you know, I thought Chat GPT had it on lock until I had I had Chat GPT help me create the top banner and the bottom banner, right? And then I found that it took a couple of tries. For whatever reason, it seemed like it was doing perfect text when I was doing regular uh picture style, um when I wanted it to generate regular pictures. But when I asked it to generate these banners, it was misspelling words. And I said, man, that's crazy. Like, how all of a sudden you were doing perfect text, and now when I ask you to do a banner, you misspelling words. But then I asked Copilot, I opened up one of my web pages, and since Copilot has the ability to see what you're actually looking at, unlike the other AI tools, it was able to create a graphic that was kind of congruent with what I wanted. So look at this amazing advertisement that it created for my favorite AI tool, which is Video Express. And I want to actually give you guys this offer because this product right here has reached a point where it is allowing me to do just about anything that I want. When it comes to creating music videos, everything, I use Video Express. And they have an amazing offer. So as you can see, lifetime opportunity. $49, you'll get the ability to have access, no monthly payments, no, credit limits and things like that. Or you can go to the 179, one time lifetime, which is what I actually have because, I'm fully committed. I love it. I love having the ability to have access to all of the tools and everything that this amazing system can do, and not having to worry about any credit limits. So if I want to make a music video today with, 20, 30, 40 scenes, I can do that. If I want to make another one tomorrow, I can do that the day after. And I don't have to worry about being limited to 5,000, 10,000, or even 100,000 credits. That sounds good in some cases. Hey, you get 100,000 credits until you start creating a video with that AI tool, and you realize that a 20-second video takes 20,000 credits or whatever. So it's this right here is unbeatable. And if you guys hear the noise outside, like I said, I didn't want to go too long because I knew I had some things going on. Had the power washing company out, so they're power washing the side of the building and everything. So it might be a little loud. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I didn't keep you guys too long before they got started. So if you hear it, that's what it is. But I just wanted to show you guys this graphic that I'm going to pop up often as I'm doing presentations and sharing with you the amazing opportunity. Now, if you want access to this amazing tool and be able to create videos like this second version, so I made two Red Bull videos, two versions, and I want to share with you the second one. Let's let's bring it back from the beginning so you guys can see it. How realistic does this look? The windshield wiper. Did you see that? As the windshield wipers move, the click. Look at this. I am so impressed and I am so excited to be able to have access to this amazing tool, which is getting better and better and better. And I made the investment of the 179 for this tool over a year ago. Once again, no monthly fees, no credit limits, and they've made updates, and I don't have to pay for the updates or anything like that, lifetime updates. And look what we're able to create. When I saw the original video that I saw, right, I thought, at first, you know, I knew I was in the AI group, so I knew that anything in here would be AI. But when I looked at it, I'm like, man, this looked realistic. I don't know what tool they were using to create it, but I can almost guarantee that they were using a tool that was a monthly subscription that also had a limit when it comes to credits. And I started thinking to myself, how many versions or how many attempts did they have to make in order to make this video perfect? So this could have eaten up a lot of their credits. And how many videos did they actually get to make throughout the month? Unless they're building a business around it where they can sell the product and refer the product, and they're like good online marketers. And when they do that, they get more credits. So they have referral programs and stuff like that that'll help you get more credits if you refer the products, right? So unless you're doing that, then you're truly limited, right? And even with those referral programs, they might say, hey, you can only refer 5 people. So you're only going to get so many free credits, right? But I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, man, let me recreate that. So I created various scenes, and then I took the end of one and I extended it and made it longer and, kept it going. And I said, wow, look at how fast and smooth and realistic that looked. Let me play it one more time. Look how the camera's moving. Look at the flow. Look at that. Look at the blur. Look at the rain on the windshield. Look at this. I didn't add the music. It added the music itself. I added the overlay. I added the text overlay using, the editor itself. So the timeline editor. So this section right here, I'm able to have, you know, text overlay, text animations. Now you don't have access to that in other AI tools. So this has its own video editor built into it, and it's unlimited. So, I could stay here and talk to you guys about this all day because I love it. But instead of that, you know, I'm I'm gonna go back to creating. I'm gonna start creating some more stuff with it. But what I want to also do as we close out, we want to start off this Monday, you know, which we call Monday, Take Your Heart Back Monday. I want to start it out with a new music video, a new music video that I just recently created, right? And it's a Hustleberry music video. I wasn't going, I wasn't really going to do this. I was going to play that Hustle Bear new music video. But like I said, since I have a tool that allows me to create unlimited, content, I can create a new video for every song on the album every single day. I can do that. But I'm trying to get out of the habit of kind of hoarding stuff to myself. I like to keep things in the tuck. I like to keep things on reserve, and I have a lot of things on reserve. And sometimes I get in the mode of not wanting to, put content out because, I I be holding on to stuff. I'm gonna just be honest with you. But I want to put it out. I want to, share what I have. And the one thing I have to also get over, and you yourself as a content creator, you might have to also, this might be one of your challenges, feeling the need to always create something new, feeling like you always have to be, in create mode every day, something new, something new, something new, multiple times a day. And then when you get in the habit of doing that, then you feel like you can't stop. Like, you just got to keep going. So I want you to get out of that habit of thinking, and I'm trying to get myself out of the habit of it. Because I think about the music industry, right? I think about the movie industry also. They usually have, let's say in the movie industry, they'll usually have, let's say, 2 or 3 trailers. And they'll keep playing those trailers over and over and over and over again. They'll keep posting those same trailers over and over and over again. It's not like they're creating 100 different trailers and you know, they're saying, oh, I got to keep showing these millions of people that are watching something new. No, they might have 2 or 3 trailers and they'll keep posting it. And sometimes as content creators or me personally, I feel like, repetition. I've never been the type to post the same thing over and over and over and over again. So with that type of mindset, it's put me in a different category, right? Over all this time, I have hundreds and well over 1,000 pieces of content that I've created because of my willingness to put in the work and my mindset of having to feeling like I have to have something always new. So I'm gonna slow down on that. I'm gonna create and create and create like I always do, but I'm also going to reshare things that I've created before, and I'm a repurpose it. I'm gonna reuse it. I'm gonna repost it because it might not be new to you if you saw it before, but it's going to be new to the next person, to those next 100 people, the next 1,000 people who I'm able to reach with that particular content, that particular post. So with the hundreds of pieces of content, you know, technically, I should never have to create another piece of content if I don't want to. I should never have to create another piece of content. We're at strong 49. I'm well over 225 consistent lives that I've done, with the average of the lives being about an hour long each time. And what if I chop those up into 1 minute, 1.5 minute clips? That's a lifetime worth of content that could be chopped up, and I never have to make any more content. But I do it because I love it and I keep going. But I'm gonna close out because I'm looking at the time. It's 10:14 a.m. I love communicating with my community and sharing valuable information. I hope you guys have gotten a lot out of this. And if you're interested in getting access to these amazing tools, specifically, I'm talking about, Video Express. I want you to comment video, and I'm going to send you access to my exclusive magnetic content creation training so that you'll get, exclusive training from me, and you'll also get, you know, to be able to acquire this particular app, and you also get access to my exclusive, you know, Hustleverse Cinematic Director Prompting app. It's going to help you create prompts so you could create, cinematic scenes like this. So with that, I'm going to close out. Let me pull up that amazing new Hustleberry video. This concept right here was, you know, it's related to our niche, is related to our online industry, right? The name of this song here is called Static on Channel 6. So Static on Channel 6 from Hustleberry. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next live.
We got more ways to communicate than ever before. But somehow, nobody really talk no more. Everybody connected. Blue light glow. Blue light glow on everybody's face. Whole room quiet, but they scroll all day. Everybody connected, nobody close. Hearts online, but the souls feel ghost. Used to hear laughter through the neighborhood nights. Now it's just screens glowing under artificial light. Everybody posting who they pretend to be, while the real version drowns silently. Conversation shorter than they used to feel. Everything felt and nothing really real. Quick replies, no emotion attached. Whole generation learning how to detach. And I can feel something shifting in the air. Like the signal broke, but nobody cares. Static on channel 6. Everybody watching but nobody connect. Too much noise, too many artificial friends. Signal full strong, but the soul disconnect. Static on channel 6. Everybody talking but nobody confess. Too many masks, too much internet stress. Now the whole world glitching from emotional neglect. Little kids growing up scared to speak, cause validation only come through a screen. Everybody searching for a viral reaction, while real life slowly losing interaction. And it's wild, people know followers more than neighbors. No algorithms more than human behavior. Can't even look somebody deep in the eyes without anxiety building inside. That's why depression move heavy these days. Too much comparison flooding the brain. Everybody watching everybody else shine, while secretly feeling lost inside. And the craziest part, they call this social. Communication used to feel human. Now it feels transactional. Everybody broadcasting, nobody listening. Now the static feel louder every year. More voices online, but less people sincere. Everybody got opinions, nobody got peace. Everybody got platforms, everybody release. And I ain't judging, I see the pain. People just trying to feel visible again, trying to belong in a world moving fast, trying to hold connection that technology replaced. That's why community matter more than ever. Real conversations hold people together, cause without that, the signal decay. And eventually, everybody drift away. Static on channel 6. Everybody watching but nobody connect. Too much noise, too many artificial friends. Signal full strong, but the soul disconnect. Static on channel 6. Everybody talking but nobody confess. Too many masks, too much internet stress. Now the whole world glitching from emotional neglect. The signal never disappeared. People just forgot how to hear each other. Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first, but in silence even whispers can't quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. To my PayPal ping, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat